Hello, everyone. Welcome to the KONTAINEROZ podcast, episode 6. Today I have Jose Morelos in the studio with me, a longtime friend of mine. What's up, bro?
Not much, man. Just, here doing this podcast after, I don't know, we talked about this a while back ago. And I finally had time to do it. I'm finally in town. I'm not live here anymore, so it makes it a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I don't miss the ports.
No?
I did them for 10 years, 11 years, I think.
So you've been out for a while. Now you're out longer though, right?
I don't think I'm coming back. I mean,
Yeah.
unless something changes, then I don't think I'm coming back. I do miss it, honestly. I went over the Vincent Thomas Bridge earlier,
Mm-hmm.
over the new, what's the new bridge? The one with the different color lights? The new one that they just made.
The new
The Gerald
Gerald.
Desmond.
Mm-hmm.
I went over that one. It's memories.
Just the lights probably give you that little nostalgic feeling that the cool lights has.
Yeah, and just looking at the ships. When I was coming down the Gerald Desmond, I was looking at Hanjin on the left, and it's like I like it. I mean, it's just good memories. I guess I have a lot of patience as a person. I could sit 10, 11 hours, no problem. I don't cut my veins like everybody else. I relax. People start pulling out their hair, cutting their veins, and screaming
Yeah.
at clerks and screaming at securities. And, I never saw the point to any of that.
Mm.
If you want to wait there, cool. You don't want to wait there, get on. Oh, well. That's the way I saw everything. I get to one of the terminals. Back in the day, F10 or LBCT was one of the fast ones.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you know what? That's where
What?
there's
Oh, there you go, making noise.
there you go. There's before you used to make two lines, right?
Uh-huh.
It was actually three. And there's one on the right side of the train tracks
Mm-hmm.
at the entrance. And I remember I was probably like 12 or 13 years old, maybe 14.
Mm-hmm.
And I would come to work with my uncle. And that whole little stretch of where you cross over the tracks, I know what you're talking about, right? Where the lunch truck we used to park.
Where the chuchos would take over if the train came.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That whole little stretch all the way to the entrance, my uncle would let me drive his truck, like, just, and I remember this because
Oh, just that little part.
just that little part, between the terminal and the train tracks. And once the line would start moving, if we started going fast enough, I remember he used to tell me, because there was four screws on the shifter, like at the floor, on the floor of the shifter,
Mm.
like four screws, for the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he used to tell me, look, start with that one, then go to this screw, then go to this one,
Oh, that's easy.
and then go back up to this one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll never get
Yeah.
to the top right screw, but
If you fill it out, then based on that distance, there was no need to get there anyways to that screw, right? That's what you mean.
yeah, we didn't get to go that fast, but
Yeah.
you know, and then we would get close to the line. I just jump in the back and just kind of peek out through the little side windows on the sleeper and just kind of get a little brief view of what it looks like inside. And I remember as a little kid, I've always wanted to do it. Not so much the ports, but that's really what I knew, and that's what I grew up on. Matter of fact,
No, 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 no. We're gonna no. Stop the cap. Stop it. Let's go way back. How you started.
that's what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
okay, I thought 'cause
Yeah,
you
yeah,
said
yeah.
ports. I was like, I know it ain't ports, all of it. Let's start way back.
So this is what happened, right? I would come to work with my uncle.
Mhm.
You know, back then when it wasn't such a big deal to get caught with somebody inside the truck
Yeah.
like it is now.
Yeah.
Just hiding in the sleeper. I remember going to NYK. You know, I remember I used to feel like when you're in the back in the sleeper of the truck, you go through speed bumps, and I remember jumping in the back before getting into security, feeling the speed bumps, and then I hear the truck just turn off, and my uncle at the speaker, "How can I help you?" Yeah, I've been loading. And asking for booking and all that stuff. I remember all of that, and we just roam around the terminal inside for a while, and then he would just call. He would just kind of like, put his hand back here
Mhm.
and wave around the to tell me to come out because we were coming out of the port already. And back then, the mostly what he used to do was land bridge. So he just go to BNSF and come back, and that was my day. Yeah, he started. We would finish working, and there's an area right there by Pier A. It's a big parking spot. Now it's blocked off
Mhm.
next to the refinery. I remember he had a he had a blue 1964 Peterbilt. I don't remember if it was a 351 or a 381. I can't remember the model number, but it was a needle nose, butterfly hood, a nice truck.
Mhm.
And those trucks are not as advanced as where you drive now. So I remember one day we were practicing just with the truck, bobtail, and we were just in the parking lot, and I threw it in reverse. I'm thinking what I did is I threw it in reverse high, and I let go of the clutch, and we just stopped. We dropped, and I remember my uncle. He just told me, 'cause the truck didn't go anywhere,
Mhm.
and he already knew what the hell was going on. They told me, "Come on, get off. Put the brake and get off." And yeah, sure enough, he's like, "Look at the truck. The drive shaft was on the floor."
Damn. In my time, I've only broken one, and it was coming down the 405 South before the Sunset exit. You know where there's that big building that looks like a giant, what should I say? A big tubo
Okay.
Sunset exit.
Yeah.
Right there, I was still fresh, so I was trying to get my groove on and downshift. I thought that's not even a sick ass downgrade, but it still feels pretty cool coming down there. So I downshifted, and I fucked up, and that shit came off, and it kind of stabbed the floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was fucked up, and I was stuck there. So that's how I learned that I didn't know how to downshift that good. You know?
I've never practiced downshifting that much. I mean, I heard this in a movie, I think, called it Georgia Overdrive.
Mm-hmm.
You go down a hill, you don't know what to do. You don't know what, you don't know how to downshift. Throw that shit in neutral and let it go.
Oh well, obviously that doesn't work, right?
No, well, obviously it's a movie prop thing.
Yeah, but that fuck, yeah,
My point with that is that
because in the news lately that didn't work for that guy.
bro, that
That's
guy.
that's
Look,
that's
I
that's
don't know
all
the
over.
story on
That's
that.
all over the place. There's people for it, against it, not for it in a way that it's okay what he did, but they're like he knew better. Like when you get your CDL, you sign up for this responsibility. You should know better.
You should.
But
I don't really know the story. I haven't really looked into it. I haven't read much up on it. One of my friends sent me like a video of an interview he had with some news people or whatever. And he said a lot of things that if I was one of the family members of the people that died, I would have been pretty mad. You know, he was basically, what I saw in that interview, he's basically like trying to paint himself the victim that he didn't know what he was doing.
mm,
You don't do that. Like to me, it's I'm not gonna go out there and tell the world that I don't know what the hell I was doing. Because why would somebody not be like? If I was a family member, I'd be even more mad because you don't know what you're doing. So why are you doing it?
you could also be like, why would you hire this guy?
Exactly.
Not once have I heard the name of the company he worked for this whole time,
And you're not gonna hear
or
it.
if they got any heat.
You're not gonna hear it. So look, check this out. So,
Hey, before we go further, I don't want to sound like a dick, but I'm new to this and I'm learning stuff as I go. So what I learned about this table is that if we rock it or we bang on it, the audio sucks. So I could hear it all. So
I didn't hear it.
I don't wanna argue with you, bro. Nah, nah, guys. We've been friends for a while. I've known this guy since like what, a decade maybe, I would say,
Yeah, about there.
right?
I don't know how
So we're cool like
your
that, but
your dad still had the red Columbia.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
That
that
I
was
was
a long
gonna
time
that I
ago.
was gonna buy, but thanks to the clean truck program, that shit went out the window. But let's not get off track yet.
Yeah.
I was just trying to remind you of the audio,
No, yeah.
and yeah, I apologize. Moving on.
So, okay, so I dropped the drive shaft, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what am I moving?
Stop kicking the table, bro.
I'm
What am
not
I gonna do
kicking
with
it.
you?
I think it's you.
You're making my edit job hard as fuck. No kicking, no banging the table. Moving on.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
All right. Back then it was the days of cab over still. You know, I actually missed those. I was down in Texas not too long ago, and I saw a couple cab overs, and it just reminded me of, you know, even 12 years ago we still saw cab overs over here in the ports.
I never got to drive one. I think they're badass when they're done up.
They are, but
I
the ride is uncomfortable.
I heard they're what do they call it? It's a saying like a backbreaker or un dicho way. They go like the ball buster,
Yeah, I
the
know what you're talking about. I
backbreaker.
can't remember.
Basically the way the wheelbase is, you get
No,
all
you're literally sitting on top of a tire.
yeah, you get all that friction.
Yeah.
So I drove one only one time, and it was this warehouse used it as a yard goat. But for some reason, those gears I can never get them in. It feels like if they're like way shorter, in
Okay. Yeah,
'cause it's like
all
up
of it
here.
is,
It feels it's like way up here.
yeah,
Like,
all
really.
of it is a feel. You got to get used to it. Like, you know, I have a Silverado, right? And I have a Suburban.
Mm-hmm.
I can't parallel park the Silverado or the Suburban in a tight space.
Mm-hmm.
You give me the truck, well, now with a 53, or even with the container, I'll park it anywhere where you have about 2 feet in front of it and 2 feet in back of it. I can park it. But you give me a regular car, I can't. Like I get lost.
Mm.
You know, and you know my brother, for example, he asked me, like, so you can't park the truck, but you can park the semi. Yeah, you just get used to it. It's just a part of you. Like I could hop on from one to the other, to the other, to the other. You know, you give me whatever truck, I'll jump in and I can drive it. Not a big problem. You just get used to them.
Yeah, I do feel safer in a truck than in my personal vehicle. And you know, before we move on, I'm sorry about earlier. I think I fucked up your train of thought. We were on to something or closing in on that comment about that driver that went down the hill, I think.
Oh yeah.
I'll bring you back to that real quick.
Like I said, there's things that he said I wouldn't have said because it makes me look very inexperienced, very pretty dumb, I guess.
Mm.
You know, I had this conversation with a cousin of mine, and you know,
You want to give him a shout out?
nah,
Do it,
maybe
do it,
next
do
time.
it, do it.
No.
All right.
But yeah, we were having a conversation about this, and I think jail time is fair. What they were giving him at the beginning, I don't think is fair. But
They just brought it down to 10.
yeah, they brought it down to 10. I saw that, but like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're scared of something, don't do it. Park the truck and have somebody come pick it up.
Mm.
You know, when I started, you know, I learned how to park at BNSF. Like most of my cousins, I think most of the guys that do this, learn how to park at the train
That's
at
the
BNSF.
best place. You just fuck shit up. You bang up the
Yeah,
container next to it. El golpe avisa right there.
yeah, basically. So, little by little, I started taking the truck on the street. I remember I felt like I was doing a lot one time. You know, we went into ICTF with my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
He checked in, whatever, and when he walks back into the truck, he tells me, "Hey, go park this shit over there, and then drive it out." And he was in the back. I was like, "Okay." So I started driving around UP. I mean, ICTF.
Mm-hmm.
I parked it. I went out. We get to the light to get out,
Mm-hmm.
and then he swaps back over. And you know, like that gave me a sense of I can really do this. You know, I could do this. And little by little, I was probably like about 15 or 16 at the time. One time we just came out of BNSF and, you know, I parked, came out, and he told me, just take it. Get on the freeway and take it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. And I drove it all the way to Long Beach. I felt like a badass, you know. I'm 16 years old driving, what that at that time was 1986 Peterbilt 359,
Mm-hmm.
which is a pretty badass truck. Not like that.
No, you were
Nah.
riding low.
Nah. Matter of fact, you know what I remember about that truck? It had a.
Funny you remember all that shit, but you can't remember to stop fucking kicking the table, man.
I'm not kicking the table.
Doing some shit.
I'm just moving around with the chair.
Sorry, folks. Everything's under control. Carry on.
And you said it. I'm the picky one.
Moving on. So yeah.
Kind of sad when he got rid of that truck because of this clean air program. It's the only reason why he got rid of it.
A lot of people got ripped off, man. They thought they were doing the right thing, but they're just getting fucked. Not everyone was on the same page. Like, they didn't know certain things, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he also had I think it was like a 96 Freightliner Classic, which was a pretty badass
I
truck.
like those styles.
Yeah,
I drove one of those when I started. Mid-roof.
yeah. You know what? I drove what are those things? A Cascadia
Mm-hmm.
a while back, and I didn't like it. I felt like I was in a big spaceship. Like I didn't like it. I like my little narrow cramped cab. Yeah, I like it. That that's all I've ever known. So I learned how to drive in that 1964 Peterbilt. Then it was a Betty Boop, which was a 85 359 that he had.
Betty Boop, like that was the nickname of his truck? Or
Well, they used to call it Betty Boop because it had a Betty Boop sticker on the side of the sleeper. Like it had a big Betty Boop about this big on the side of the sleeper. So they used to call it like Betty Boop.
Back then, people took nicknaming their trucks serious, huh?
I think it's always been like that.
Yeah. It kind of seems dying out here. Like, it's just the truck number. You put that sticker on the side, you know?
I don't name my truck. I don't have a name for mine. I think naming cars and trucks and all that, I think is, to me, I think it's stupid.